shattered promises. The evening rain pelted against the windows of Sophia Bennett's downtown apartment as she stared at the pregnancy test in her trembling hand. 2 pink lines, unmistakable. Her free hand instinctively moved to her still flat stomach as emotions washed over her, shock, wonder, and then fear. "Marcus needs to know," she whispered to herself, reaching for her phone. At 32, Sophia had built a respectable career as an interior designer for Elite Spaces, one of the city's premier firms. Her relationship with Marcus Kane had been steady for nearly 2 years. Not perfect, but comfortable enough that this news, while unexpected, shouldn't be catastrophic. Marcus arrived 40 minutes later, his dark hair damp from the rain, his expression unreadable as he shed his jacket. "You said it was urgent," he said, accepting the glass of water she offered, but remaining standing. Sophia took a deep breath. "I'm pregnant, Marcus." The silence that followed seemed to stretch into infinity. Marcus set down his glass, his handsome features hardening into something Sophia had never seen before. "Are you sure it's mine?" The words sliced through her like ice. "How could you even ask that?" Sophia's voice cracked, the question revealing a side of him she'd never witnessed. Marcus paced the living room, running his hands through his hair. "This wasn't part of my plan, Sophia, not now. Not with everything at stake with the Westridge development." "It wasn't exactly in my 5-year career plan either," she countered. "But it's happening. You know my company is at a critical point. Blackwood Enterprises is breathing down our necks, looking for any weakness." His voice rose. "I can't afford distractions." The word distraction hung in the air between them. Sophia felt something inside her harden. "So that's what this is to you? A distraction?" Marcus wouldn't meet her eyes. "I've worked too hard to get where I am. I can't," he faltered, then straightened his shoulders. "I won't let anything derail that. Not even this." Sophia felt numb as she watched him gather his jacket. "So you're just leaving?" "Just like that." "I'll send money," he offered mechanically. "But I can't be a father, not now. Maybe not ever." The door closed behind him with a quiet click that somehow hurt more than if he'd slammed it. Sophia stood frozen, one hand still protectively covering her stomach, the other clenched into a fist. 3 days passed in a blur of tears and numbness. Sophia called in sick to work, barely eating, barely sleeping. On the 4th morning, her phone buzzed with a text from Marcus. "I've arranged for a deposit into your account. Please don't contact me again." That text, so cold, so final, ignited something in Sophia. Anger. And beneath the anger, a steely resolve. She showered, dressed in her favorite navy dress that hugged her curves, and applied makeup for the first time since Marcus had walked out. "We don't need him," she told her reflection, her green eyes bright with unshed tears and determination. "We'll be just fine." She called her boss, apologizing for her absence and requesting a meeting. If she was going to have this baby alone, she needed to secure her position at Elite Spaces. As she gathered her portfolio and notes for upcoming projects, Sophia refused to acknowledge the fear still lurking beneath her newfound determination. The future stretched before her, filled with uncertainty. But one thing was clear. Marcus Kane had walked away when she needed him most, and Sophia would never give him the power to hurt her again. Unexpected encounter. 3 months later, Sophia's small baby bump was just becoming visible beneath her carefully selected wardrobe. She had thrown herself into her work with renewed passion, securing 2 major clients and impressing her boss enough to guarantee her position was secure through her maternity leave. Today's appointment brought her to the towering glass headquarters of Blackwood Enterprises, a meeting she'd been dreading. Vincent Blackwood, the company's enigmatic CEO, had specifically requested Elite Spaces for the redesign of the executive floor, and Sophia had been assigned as lead designer. "Ms. Bennett," a sleek receptionist greeted her. "Mr. Blackwood is ready for you." Sophia smoothed her emerald silk blouse and followed the woman through the corridors. She knew of Vincent Blackwood by reputation, a self-made billionaire whose meteoric rise had made him the nemesis of several established developers, Marcus chief among them. The man who rose from behind the massive mahogany desk wasn't what she expected. Tall with broad shoulders, Vincent Blackwood had penetrating amber eyes that seemed to assess everything in seconds. His dark hair was cut precisely, and his tailored charcoal suit spoke of understated wealth. "Miss Bennett," he extended his hand, "I've heard impressive things about your work." His handshake was firm, his voice deep with a hint of something foreign she couldn't place. Sophia felt an unexpected flutter in her stomach that had nothing to do with her pregnancy. "Thank you for the opportunity." "Mr. Blackwood, I've brought some preliminary concepts based on our brief discussion." The meeting proceeded professionally until Vincent suddenly paused, studying her face. "You look familiar. Have we met before?" Sophia tensed. "I don't believe so." "Wait." His eyes narrowed slightly. "Bennett, you're not connected to Kane Development, are you?" The air in the room seemed to thin. "I was in a relationship with Marcus Kane. It ended several months ago." Vincent's expression darkened. "I see. And now you're designing my executive offices. Interesting coincidence." "It's not a coincidence," Sophia replied, heat rising to her cheeks. "It's my job. My personal life has nothing to do with my professional capabilities." "Your personal life was with my chief competitor who'd do anything to gain information on my projects," Vincent countered, standing to his impressive height. "You'll forgive my skepticism." Sophia gathered her portfolio, anger replacing her nervousness. "I don't need forgiveness for something I haven't done. If you'd prefer another designer, I'm sure Elite Spaces can accommodate." She was halfway to the door when his voice stopped her. "Wait." There was a pause. "That was unfair of me. Please sit down." Reluctantly, Sophia returned to her seat. "Coffee?" he offered, his tone softer. "I can't." "Pregnant," she said bluntly, watching his eyes widen slightly as they dropped to her midsection. An uncomfortable silence stretched between them before Vincent spoke again. "I apologize for my assumption. Your designs are excellent. I'd like to proceed with you as the lead designer." The meeting continued, more subdued but productive. As Sophia was leaving, Vincent walked her to the elevator. "Ms. Bennett," he said quietly, "I know what kind of man Marcus Kane is. If he's out of your life, that's probably for the best." Sophia met his gaze steadily. "On that, Mr. Blackwood, we can agree." Guarded hearts. Over the next 2 months, Sophia found herself spending increasing time at Blackwood Enterprises as the renovation project expanded. Despite their rocky beginning, she and Vincent had developed an unexpected rapport. He respected her design instincts and she appreciated his clear vision. Today she was selecting fabric samples when a wave of dizziness overtook her. She gripped the edge of the conference table, breathing deeply. "Sophia?" Vincent appeared at her side, one hand steadying her elbow. "Are you all right?" "Just a little lightheaded," she managed. "It happens sometimes." Without discussion, Vincent guided her to his private office and had his assistant bring water and a plate of fruit. "You should rest," he insisted. His usual commanding tone softened with concern. "I'm fine, really. The baby's just doing somersaults today." She placed a hand on her now prominent belly. Vincent hesitated before asking, "May I?" His hand hovered near her stomach. Surprised, Sophia nodded. His large hand rested gently on her belly, and as if on cue, the baby kicked against his palm. Vincent's face transformed with wonder, the stern businessman momentarily replaced by something much more vulnerable. "That's incredible," he murmured. Their eyes met, and something shifted between them. Vincent withdrew his hand slowly, clearing his throat. "Have you had lunch? I know a place nearby with excellent food." That lunch became a regular occurrence. They discussed designs, business, books, everything except Marcus. But the unspoken connection hovered between them. One evening, working late to meet a deadline, Sophia found Vincent bringing her dinner. "You need to take better care of yourself," he chided gently. "For both of you. Why do you care so much?" The question slipped out before she could stop it. Vincent was silent for so long, Sophia thought he wouldn't answer. Finally, he spoke, his voice low. "My sister was abandoned during her pregnancy. Her boyfriend walked away just like—" He stopped. "Just like Marcus did to me," Sophia finished. "Yes." Vincent's eyes held hers. She struggled alone. "I was too young, too far away to help her then. I've never forgiven myself. What happened?" "She's fine now. Married, happy. But those months—" He shook his head. "No one should face that alone." Sophia touched his hand impulsively. I'm not alone. I have friends, my job. And me, Vincent added quietly. If you want. The atmosphere changed, charged with something neither was ready to name. Vincent tucked a strand of hair behind her ear, his fingers lingering on her cheek. Sophia felt her heartbeat quicken. Vincent, she whispered, this is complicated. Life is complicated, he replied, leaning closer. But some things are very simple. His kiss was gentle, questioning, giving her every opportunity to pull away. Instead, Sophia found herself responding, her hands sliding up to his shoulders as he deepened the kiss. When they parted, both breathing unsteadily, Vincent rested his forehead against hers. I didn't plan this, he admitted. Getting involved with you, it goes against every rational business decision I've ever made. Sophia gave a small laugh. Being attracted to my boyfriend's biggest rival isn't exactly in my life plan either. Ex-boyfriend, Vincent corrected, his thumb tracing her jawline. Yes, she agreed, sobering. But that doesn't make this any less complicated. Vincent nodded, reluctantly putting space between them. We'll take it slow. Figure it out together. As he drove her home that night, Sophia found herself wondering what Marcus would think if he knew she was developing feelings for Vincent Blackwood. The thought brought neither satisfaction nor guilt, just the certainty that her life was moving in a direction she'd never anticipated, but one that felt increasingly right. Retry UB Part 4 to 5 Edit Part 4, Return of the Past. At 7 months pregnant, Sophia glowed. Her design for Vincent's executive floor had been completed to rave reviews, cementing her reputation at elite spaces. More importantly, her relationship with Vincent had deepened into something she'd never expected to find. Tonight, Vincent was cooking dinner at her apartment, a routine they'd fallen into 3 times a week. Sophia smiled, watching him move confidently around her kitchen, his sleeves rolled up as he prepared pasta from scratch. The nursery samples arrived, she said, scrolling through photos on her tablet. I'm thinking the pale yellow with gray accents. Vincent leaned over her shoulder, his cologne, sandalwood and cedar, enveloping her. Perfect. Though I still think the apartment is too small. We've discussed this, Sophia reminded him gently. I'm not ready to move. Vincent kissed the top of her head. I know. Just thinking about practicality. The doorbell interrupted their comfortable moment. Expecting someone? Vincent asked. Sophia shook her head, pushing herself up from the sofa. Probably a delivery. When she opened the door, the pasta fork she was holding clattered to the floor. Marcus Kane stood in her doorway, looking haggard but determined. Sophia, he said, his eyes immediately dropping to her prominent belly. You look beautiful. She found herself speechless, frozen in place until Vincent appeared behind her, his hand settling protectively at the small of her back. Marcus's expression darkened. Blackwood? What the hell are you doing here? I could ask you the same question, Vincent replied coolly. You're interrupting our dinner. The implication hung in the air. Marcus's face flushed with anger. So this is why you've been stealing my clients? To get to my girlfriend? Ex-girlfriend, Sophia finally found her voice. You lost the right to call me that when you walked away. I made a mistake, Marcus insisted, his voice dropping. I've been miserable without you, Sophia. When I heard about the baby, our baby, from mutual friends, I realized what I'd thrown away. Vincent's posture stiffened beside her, but he remained silent, allowing her to handle the confrontation. That's convenient timing, Sophia said, one hand cradling her belly. But this isn't your baby anymore, Marcus. You made that abundantly clear. Don't be ridiculous, Marcus stepped forward. Of course it's my child. I have rights. Rights? Vincent interrupted, his voice dangerously low. You surrendered those when you told her not to contact you again. When you treated her like a distraction. Marcus's eyes narrowed. She told you that? How long has this been going on? Were you seeing him before we broke up, Sophia? The accusation stung. You don't get to come here and question my integrity. Not after what you did. I came to make things right, Marcus insisted, his gaze softening as he looked at her. I still love you, Sophia. I want us to be a family. The family we were meant to be. Sophia felt Vincent's body tense beside her, though his face remained impassive. I need you to leave, she told Marcus firmly. I can't do this right now. Just give me a chance to explain. Meet me for coffee tomorrow, Marcus pleaded. For the sake of what we had. After he left, Sophia found herself trembling. Vincent guided her to the sofa, his movements gentle but his expression troubled. Are you going to meet him? He finally asked, his voice carefully neutral. Sophia looked up at the man who had become so important to her. I don't know. Part of me thinks I should hear him out, for closure, if nothing else. Vincent nodded slowly, but she could see the hurt in his eyes. He's the baby's biological father. I understand if you need to consider— Stop, Sophia interrupted, taking his hands. Biology doesn't make him a father. A father is someone who's there, who cares, who puts his child before himself. That's not Marcus. And you think that's me? Vincent asked quietly. Sophia touched his face. I know it is. I've seen how you talk to the baby, how you've planned for its arrival. You've been more of a parent already than Marcus ever tried to be. Vincent pulled her close. I love you both so much it terrifies me, he admitted against her hair. The thought of losing you to him— You won't, Sophia promised. But as she lay awake that night, Marcus's words echoed in her mind. The past she thought she'd put behind her had returned, demanding resolution before she could fully embrace her future. Choosing tomorrow. The cafe was busy with the morning rush when Sophia arrived. Marcus was already waiting, looking more like the man she remembered. Confident, well-dressed, his familiar smile appearing when he spotted her. You came, he said, rising to pull out her chair. I wasn't sure you would. Neither was I, Sophia admitted, easing herself down. Say what you need to say, Marcus. He took a deep breath. I panicked when you told me about the pregnancy. I was in the middle of negotiations with investors and all I could see was everything falling apart. But I was wrong. Yes, you were, Sophia agreed, her hand resting on her belly as the baby shifted. The deal went through, but it felt hollow. Success means nothing without someone to share it with, Marcus continued. I've missed you every day. When I heard you were pregnant through Jeremy at the club, I realized what I'd walked away from. Sophia studied him, trying to separate her memories from the man before her. You said you couldn't be a father. What's changed? Marcus leaned forward eagerly. Everything. I've bought a house in the suburbs, plenty of room for a nursery. I've even started researching the best pediatricians. Something about his words struck Sophia as rehearsed. And Blackwood Enterprises? I know you're still competing for the Riverside development. Marcus's expression hardened momentarily before he caught himself. Business is business, but I won't let it come between us again. Us, Sophia repeated. There hasn't been an us for months, Marcus. Because of Blackwood? Marcus scoffed. He's using you to get to me, Sophia. It's what he does. He takes what's mine. I'm not yours, Sophia said quietly. I never was. And Vincent didn't take me. He was there when I needed someone most. I made one mistake, Marcus insisted. Are you really going to let our child grow up calling another man daddy? Especially him? The question hung between them, weighted with implication. Sophia took a sip of her water, gathering her thoughts. When I found out I was pregnant, I was scared but excited to tell you. I thought we'd face it together, she began. Instead, you asked if it was yours, called our baby a distraction, and walked away. You sent money like that absolved you of responsibility. I was wrong. Let me finish, Sophia interrupted. While you were absent, Vincent was there. Not just financially, but emotionally. He came to doctor's appointments. He held my hair when I had morning sickness. He's read parenting books and built the crib and loved this baby before it was even born. Marcus frowned. So you're choosing him? Just like that? No, not just like that. I'm choosing the man who proved he could be counted on. The man who didn't need a crisis to realize what matters. Sophia stood carefully. Our child will know who you are, Marcus. If you genuinely want to be part of their life, we can discuss visitation after the birth. And us? Marcus asked, a last plea in his voice. There is no us. There's only what was and what I've found since. Sophia gathered her purse. I truly hope you find someone who makes you happy, Marcus. but it was never meant to be me. The weight that had pressed on her chest since Marcus's reappearance lifted as she walked away. By the time she reached Vincent's office, she felt lighter than she had in months. Vincent looked up from his desk, surprise turning to concern when he saw her. "Sophia, is everything all right?" She crossed the room and took his hands, pulling him to his feet. "Perfect, actually. I just wanted to see you." "How did it go with Marcus?" he asked carefully. He wanted to try again. "Said all the right words," she admitted. "But they were just words." Vincent searched her face. "And what did you tell him?" "That I've already found what I need." She leaned up to kiss him softly. "That some people walk into your life when everything is falling apart and help you build something stronger than before." Vincent's smile was radiant as he wrapped his arms around her. "Move in with me," he said suddenly. "Not because it's practical, but because I want to fall asleep beside you every night and wake up with you every morning." "Yes," Sophia answered without hesitation. "But I have one condition." "Anything," Vincent promised. "Marry me," she said, surprising herself with the words. "Not right away. After the baby comes, when we're ready. But someday." Vincent lifted her gently, spinning her in a careful circle. "Someday soon," he agreed, sealing the promise with a kiss that felt like coming home. 6 weeks later, as Sophia held her newborn daughter in the hospital with Vincent beside her, she marveled at how life's greatest heartbreaks sometimes led to its greatest joys. When Marcus had walked away in her darkest hour, she could never have imagined the light waiting to be found, a love born not from convenience or comfort, but from respect, trust, and the courage to choose tomorrow over yesterday.